What role have mentors played in your life?
I feel like even so much of my teaching, so much that I learned was by just observing people who have been down that path. For me, that was really, really big to watch senior colleagues.
Before hiring them, what are some of those leading questions that you ask to check is this person aligned or not?
I would ask them about their own schooling experience.
Hmm.
I would ask them what school was like. I would ask them about.
We have another inspirational education leader here with us. I was talking to Arjun over the last 30 minutes and getting to know his story. And, there are people who are driven by this energy. For all Star Wars fan, we say, may the force be with you. And you see and you realize that the people who are driven by that force. I've got an inspirational educator who's driven by the force. I'd welcome Arjun Rao, principal of Bombay International School in India. He's been a part of some of the most iconic schools in India, right from Doon School, Oak Ridge Schools, JBCN, and now Bombay International School. And the entire journey that I got to know was that how passionately he's built these schools and created those outcomes for learners and for his team everywhere that he's gone. I'll take a pause here. Let me invite Arjun. And Arjun, if you could please introduce yourself to our listeners and share something about yourself, your journey, how it all started, and how's it going?
Sure. Hi, Rishabh. Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast and also for that very kind and generous introduction. I think my journey began as simplistically as anybody else's does. I was studying and I needed a plan. And this was, back in 2003. I was finishing up my postgraduate degree in the UK, and I wanted to come back to India. And I'd studied history. I was deeply passionate about theater and the stage. And I wanted to do something that allows me to mesh both of these into my day. And the only thing that I could think of was schools. And so I rode out to a couple of schools, and I was very, very fortunate that a school like Doon wrote back. I met my legendary mentor, Dr. Kanti Bajpai, a few weeks later. My head even unpacked when he asked me to come to Dehradun. I don't know how to get to Dehradun. I'd never been to Dehradun. And a couple of weeks later, I suddenly found myself on that amazing campus, almost to the day. Back in 2003, it was mid-September. I remember the scene exactly. It was pouring rain. Boys were playing football, and I'm dragging a suitcase across campus. And I didn't know that place would become home, and the place where I learned so much. Fast forward, I was nearly there a decade. And while it completely shaped me, it was also the place that reminded me that there is so much that I'm capable of. And so I started asking a question to myself: what more? What next? Where next? Maybe. And I was very lucky again that another mentor, Mr. Shomi Das, called me, asked me whether I'd be interested in applying for a job to start a school in Bangalore. And I thought that was the most absurd thing that someone will ask me. And I was still a kid then. I just turned 30. This is weird. Why is he asking me to do this? But I figured I'd say yes before they change their minds. So I did. I went down there again, learning, and I think that's been a consistent part of some of the choices that I've made. learning how to start a school, learning what school construction is like, how do you build a program from the ground up. I'd never worked with young children. It was very exciting for me to understand how a preschool can be developed, and why the focus on even something like furniture is so important, and learning
Yeah.
space. And I met architects, I met space designers. I was just amazed at the kind of work that people are doing. And it took me to move away from what was then, and I think will be for the foreseeable future, India's most famous school, to understand that there is so much learning outside of the bubble that you can be a part of. And so, I was at Oak Ridge in Bangalore for nearly 5 years. I then moved to the original flagship, if you call it, Oak Ridge International School in Hyderabad. I was there for 2 3 years. JBCN International School contacted me. They're Bombay based. As a group, they run 5 schools now here in the city. So I took over one of their campuses. I ran that for 5 years, and last year I moved across into Bombay International School to head the school here.
Wow. Wow, that's some journey, right? 10 years continuously growing as a teacher. And I caught two things there. You said you had two key mentors who were guiding you through the first 10 years, and even that first major change of role from being a part of an iconic school as a teacher, as a coordinator. I'm sure there would be multiple designations that you would had there, but then moving from there to starting a school. And there was this turning point where a mentor came in and said, why are you not doing it? What role have mentors played in your life beyond that first or the second major decision of you wanting to join the Oak Ridge School as a principal as well? In fact, all across, all of the last, 24 years, 23, 24 years.
I
What is
sound
the
very
role
old.
that...
Say 23,
Yeah, right? I
24.
just feel like, God.
Yeah.
So,
Rishabh, I am I'm so convinced that I couldn't have done any of this. Forget making it through as a teacher. I've headed 4 schools, and everyone sees that. Um, but I feel like even so much of my teaching, so much that I learned, was by just observing people who had been down that path. For me, that was really, really big, to watch senior colleagues, if you can call them that,
hmm,
teach, to hear from them, to spend time with them. But that's why for me, Doon was this amazing crucible, because it taught, and there were so many of us, who were learning at the same time. You're all around the same age. And we had all these amazing people that we were working with. And whether they formally became mentors or not, they were there and they played roles in our journeys. And for me, I think I've had that all my life. There's always been somebody or somebodies, if I can say it, who
yeah.
wanted to, even at this stage in my career, who said, "Hey, I'll give time to Arjun."
Wow.
It's important for me to do that. Now I've reached a stage where I think, after all these years, I've realized that I could not have done any of this without so many people as part of that journey.
Yeah.
And so now I go seeking mentors. I stay in touch with people. I try my best to work with individuals who are constantly at the cutting edge of what they're doing. Even if I get to spend 5 minutes with them, I'll say, let me have that 5 minutes. Let's
Yeah.
do coffee. Let's spend some time together, because I will learn. I think one of the most significant changes in my mind has become to deliberately now seek mentors. And
Wonderful.
I think part of it was a very subconscious thing earlier that, hey, I report to this person, or he's my head of department, or, she is a housemaster and I'm like the assistant housemaster, something like that.
Yeah.
So earlier it was role defined, and then I learned, and then I realized that, hey, I'm just doing some of this stuff. I have the confidence to take decisions. Not for any other reason, but because I have seen amazing people do this before. So now I look for those people. And the most important thing I keep reminding myself, age has no criteria in this.
Yeah.
Seniority and experience carry some weight, but not everything. You can learn from absolutely anybody, including a child. I learn from my students all the time. Today I was chatting with some students. One child shared about how she's starting to discover what it means for her parents to put her and her older sister, who is now in college, through school and college.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
we unpacked that briefly, and I realized that it's something that I could never have understood, learned,
At that age.
which means at that age for sure. But I think she taught me that a young person today is going through a journey that is dramatically different from the one that I had or any of my.
Absolutely.
And so it is so important in my job to do something about creating a safe space for them to have that conversation. I learned something about my role today. You can
Beautiful.
mentors anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, when I'm connecting some of these dots, so you've had mentors that came in as formal mentors, and then you've had these impromptu, serendipitous mentoring opportunities where you've been mentored by people. And this only happens when somebody is open-minded enough to accept what's coming to their life. So you are a seeker who's getting all of those experiences, which you then consider as learning experiences / mentoring experiences. So if I now try to, separate these two kind of mentoring experiences, one where you are consciously seeking to learn about something, and one that happens serendipitously. Do you use a framework to define when you are seeking a mentorship for something? Like, do you have those areas defined for yourself that, hey, over the next 12 months, I want to learn these 2, 3, 5 new things. Over the next 5 years, I want to do this new things. Please unpack that for us. That as an education leader who's responsible for so many lives of teachers, students, society, what do you seek? Where do you look at? Or what do you look at? Which direction do you go to when you are trying to learn new things?
Right. So, building on what you mentioned, right? These two categories. One lot of mentors are assigned to you. Sometimes you don't have a choice, right? You hit rate and success rate can be 50-50, right?
Got it.
The wavelength may not work. You may not like that person. You may not, I don't know, you may not
Yeah.
meet much of them, etc. But you've got to work together. There is stuff that you've got to learn. I think open-mindedness is key. The minute we tell ourselves that this person can't teach me something, I think the process, it's already failed, right? And then we're just going through the motions because, hey, somebody has said, listen, you guys got to work together. I think the right mindset is very crucial. Even if the mentor's mindset is not, there is something to be learned even from that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I think the second is that we must have the conviction in ourselves to be able to communicate what our learning experience is like. And I think this comes back also to, in some levels, structure of the program, right? So you have somebody assigned to you, but somebody has assigned the original mentor. You should
Absolutely.
have a way of communicating with that person as well, and documenting your learning journey. That, hey, listen, in my formal process, I have learned how to do this in a classroom. I have learned how to hopefully, you're in a space where everyone is committed to this idea.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there is the flip side, which may not work. Somebody gets, oh my god, they're saying things about me, and dealing with that non-ideal state scenario. But that happens, and even there is learning about what life is all about.
Yeah.
I found that the second one, where you go seeking mentors, is very exciting,
Right.
because you are trying to identify somebody who will be able to help you with a purpose. So, what did I last look for somebody to meet? AI, right? I've gone looking for people who can break this down for me, not as a fear-based theoretical construct, because that's what I'm getting all the time. Right, it's like this, and jobs will go, and this will happen. I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay.
Meh.
I want to know. You're laughing. I'm sure you heard all of this, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
so I've gone looking for people who are working in, who are developing these ideas. I'm saying, don't tell me what your platform is like, but you tell me how how it has changed your life, and how it could possibly change mine, and I'm to learn.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm doing that kind of thing. And here again, um, I'm learning from my students are teaching me things. My colleagues are teaching me things. Experts in the field are teaching me things. Now, sometimes, it's there is a little bit of flattery that you need to put out there, that, oh my God, you're amazing. Will you please spend some time and teach me? Everyone loves a little ego boost. They'll all say, yeah, sure, I'll give you an hour of my time. Can't take that hour for granted.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not.
That 60 minutes that you get, and it could be 10 minutes with somebody, right? You have to know what you're going in to get. Nobody else will be as invested in your growth. Oh, let me rephrase. Nobody else should be as invested in your growth as you.
Yeah.
You must
Yeah.
be the person who is in the driving seat of saying, hey, I got 10 minutes to learn from this guy. Go. Here's my first question. Always go prepared into these conversations.
Absolutely.
Always develop that framework. And if that person is a with the idea of developing this together, write to them before. And so I do all of that. But there's so much prep to get maybe one answer that I can take away and say, maybe I can implement something like this.
Yeah.
And yet, you keep searching, you keep seeking. The journey never ends, right? But it's really good fun finding these people, really good spending time with them, really good fun learning from them. And the best part of this is, it's in your control, because
Yep.
you are going out and choosing these people,
Yeah.
and requesting them to give you their precious time.
Beautiful. The best part out of that is what also we learn from the red car theory. That when you seek a red car and you go on the road, everywhere you'll see a red car, which otherwise you would have ignored. So what I hear is seeking mentorship is like that. You need to define what you're looking for. Otherwise, somebody might be giving you the best pearls of wisdom, but you might just ignore it. So when we define what we need, and specifically for the second part, that seeker part, one needs to be very clear about what are they really seeking. And then once you find someone, prepare. Do your homework before you finally start learning from the other person.
Yeah.
And funny, but if I look at school systems today and the way the kids are, and I'm talking as young as second grade, third grade, they want to learn what they are seeking. So our teaching and learning processes are actually exactly like this. For them, Some things they will just discover on the way when they did not know what they want. And then some things they would want to know. How can we create enough curiosity for them that they want to learn more from the teacher? And which takes me to the next question. What are those two things that I, as a seeker, should focus on in myself, not in the mentor, that I'm able to learn from anybody who comes to me?
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I think one is open-mindedness. If you believe that you have all the answers, then it's best not seeking mentors. There's that saying, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes. Yeah.
It's much like that. It is only when you are ready are you going to be willing to listen to somebody. So I think one is open-mindedness. The second is the ability to listen. I think these are two very crucial things that you must be willing to develop within yourself to be able to seek the most out of a mentoring experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a shift, like a adjacent space. So you started as a teacher in a school where you've got mentorship, and you also said that there were many other people, many other contemporaries who were growing together, learning together. And then now you hire teachers, and you would be hiring teachers who would be 24 years old, 30 years old, 35 years old. Some might be even 40, 45 elder than you. Then you look at the differences in how somebody seeks mentorship today, or how, let's move out of the realm of mentorship, how somebody wants to learn new things today as a new teacher, somebody who's between the age of, say, 23 to 30, versus what it used to be in early 2000s. Do you see any stark difference?
I don't know whether stark difference will be anything to go by. But I can say that I believe that at any point of time, the teachers, as time goes on,
Yeah.
are more qualified and more professional than in any time that has gone before. I don't think that aspect can be denied at all. I think the challenges that current teachers deal with are remarkably different from the ones that anybody has dealt with before, right? So, what are the tough things to deal with today? You never had to contend with AI, right? It's a very big thing. It's starting to become even more obvious in our world today, right? You have to deal with plagiarism and understanding what it meant beyond someone has copied from somebody, which was today it's far more sophisticated.
Yeah.
I didn't have to deal with a world in which you were the provider. You are no longer the provider of answers. The field has changed so significantly. You did not have to contend with a far more transactional learning journey between students, teachers, and parents of children. I don't think teachers in the 80s, 90s, when I was growing up, would have been able to deal with it in quite the same way. So I think that challenges are always different, and the challenges of 2025 will be irrelevant for the challenges of 2026, not even
Absolutely.
2030, 2035.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they approach learning?
Yeah.
I think, which is what your original question was. I think they approach it very, very professionally, right? They don't wait to seek answers, because just like our students don't wait any longer, and they find alternate methods of somebody who will provide them with that answer. Teachers too are doing the same thing. They will not wait for someone to give them time. Today, I can get an online mentor, for free. Chat is on the phone. They can break down any scenario with all the words knowledge built in.
Yep.
So they are, I think teachers today are unafraid to ask the questions. Um, they will not hold back the way, let's say, I did 25 years ago,
Yeah.
um, with the assumption that, hey, because my seniors know or my bosses know, I find that they are far more confident. They are able to deal with far more.
Beautiful.
But I think an area where I sometimes want to advise them to pay heed to is to be able to rely on the experience of those that have gone before. And I think um, our ability to chat GPT everything has numbed us to the possibility that somebody can teach me something.
Wow. That's strong. And that's so true because,
We do it, Rishabh, to doctors, right? I mean, I don't remember the last time I went to one. ChatGPT is telling me what medicine to have, right?
God.
Um,
Yeah.
so when a teacher faces a challenging situation, they can put into any AI model. They can even put into Google now, saying, you just need to know how to drive the right prompts. So I don't have to rely on going and talking to my principal, say, how would you deal with um, X problem in the classroom? Your chat GPT is telling me, hey, you can try this, you can try this, you can try this, you can try this. And
Yep.
something has got lost.
Oh, yes.
And it's not just teaching, right? Every
Everywhere.
profession that has
Everywhere.
relied on institutional wisdom to be passed on is now scoffed at, right? Oh, these guys, they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's happened in our families, right? We every generation does it to the next one.
Yep.
But I think with technology and social media and AI, we find even our grandparents are getting replaced and their wisdom. We can never replace their love. So mercifully, at least that is valid till
That's better.
people figure out how to type a prompt in a chat GPT app or something. I'm good picking on chat GPT.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Any. We did and thing.
We are there. And I feel like we are letting go of that wisdom at our peril.
Hmm. Flip. How could we record that wisdom and uh, have that ingrained? How has that been done at scale already? Oh, that's the
Type PA system announcement. That's just desperately trying to get some child who has gone gayab. Some reason.
I've heard this after such a long time. I love it. I love it. We should actually keep this in the record like that.
No. Uh,
This is amazing.
Rishabh, you were asking me how can we record this? I think it is very important. And let's say in schools, I can talk about school, I don't know about any other institution. But in schools, if particularly principals, heads of schools are not able to interpret, perceive, and be the custodians of the vision of the school,
Yeah.
you will lose track of all the wisdom and the journey that the institution has been through.
Absolutely.
If there are, if, and I really think that the role of the principal today must be reinterpreted for our times. I think too much time of heads of schools is lost because they are not focusing on teachers and children. And because they are literally overburdened with the work that they do, nobody is able to even spend 5 minutes to catalog, document, and record for the ages the fact that there is a logic behind why we take certain decisions.
Yeah.
We are unable to put down um, any sort of thought process that is driving our current thinking,
Oh, wow.
which means that there is nothing for a younger person to rely on when they join us, except, you'll have some random HR brochure, or you will have something which has, awful things like dress codes. We spend so much time talking about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What you can wear, what you must carry, what is the stationery, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, timings. It's the question I am asked most when I finish any teacher interview to offer them a job. I ask them, are there any questions you'd like to ask me? You know what is the number one question that I've asked most of the time? What are the timings of the school?
School.
And I'm like, really? That's what you want to know? Because as a teacher, wouldn't you? This is a chance that you get to ask the person who's going to employ you um, anything about what the school stands for, and the only thing you can think of is what are the times. And
Yeah, it's the easiest question. Yeah, it's the easiest question. It might actually be more from a place that they are scared of asking the question. Oh, I also understand where you're coming from. You're coming from a place that, hey, why have we not prepared this generation to ask questions like, what's the culture of the school like? What's the vision of the school? What am I working towards? What am I striving to create? But it's also that how often are people able to look up at the figure of authority and ask them those questions?
fair point, Rishabh. I agree. I agree. It's sometimes very, very challenging to do it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't or you should, but I would be very keen to understand what a vision means to a person applying to a job.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Um, Absolutely. I asked a lot of leading questions because that's what I'm gauging for. By the time the person has come before me to have this discussion, they've already demonstrated capability in the classroom. They have demonstrated that they have the requisite educational qualifications and all that to be in a class.
School. Yeah.
For me, the most crucial thing to understand is, will they fit in? And very importantly, will I or will our school be able to contribute to their lives?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that.
And I feel like letting go of that opportunity is something that a lot of people do. And they don't check because I don't know whether it's the current climate or it's any other. We're just so keen to get these jobs and to hold on to them and do whatever we can that we have forgotten that something like education, any work, is driven very crucially by vision. And you can only be the most amazing teacher that you can be if you believe in what the institution stands for.
Wow.
And you can only know that when you ask those questions.
God, I love it. I love it. So to drive something like that out of a teacher when you are talking to them right before hiring them.
Yeah.
What are some of those leading questions that you ask to check, is this person aligned or not?
Okay. So I would ask them about their own schooling experience. I would ask them what school was like. I would ask them about a favorite teacher. I'll ask them what they like to do when they're not teaching. These are very important things to understand. How does a person think? What has shaped them as a person? I always ask teachers about their families, about where they grew up. You asked that question, right? Before we ask. Okay. It's very important to understand what shapes this person because they are going to be in a classroom with children who are in my care all the time. They are going to literally shape the lives of all of these children.
Yeah.
And it is very, very important what they're going to do. So I can't take a chance on this.
Yeah.
So I think that's such one very, very important kind of question that I ask. I ask them why they want to become teachers, or why they want to continue to be teachers. That's another thing that often tells me why a person is coming into this. Now,
Mhm.
I don't discount sometimes when somebody says, "Hey, listen, I, I had no choice. Uh, it happened. I'm here." But I also then triangulate, right? I see, okay, that's all right. Uh, mm, everybody does not have the choice to become a teacher, a lawyer, a chemist,
Yeah.
I don't know, a writer. But
Yeah.
sometimes life forces you down those paths.
Yeah.
And yet, what what does it continue to make you as a person? What do you believe?
Beautiful.
Until I find that there is this belief system that can rest on the foundation of the belief system that we have, I, in good conscience, cannot offer this person a job.
You've shared something so profound here. So we are teacher mentors, right? We mentor thousands and tens of thousands of teachers around the world. And one thing that I know that our mentors hear a lot from the teachers is, what should I do to prepare for a particular school? And your answer kind of defines a framework
Yeah.
that you might be outstanding at pedagogy. You might learn the subject. You might also learn how to use AI in the classroom. But when you use these three things at BIS or ABC school in some part of the world, in California, in Texas, in UK, every school has a soul. And before you go for the interview, can you at least check some basic criteria like what does the school stand for? What's the school's voice is like? What's the culture of the school?
Yeah.
Uh, and if you're not able to find out on your own, it's all right to ask that in the first round from the
Yeah.
person who's meeting you. That, hey,
Yeah.
I would love to know about these three things that I was researching on, but I was not able to find. And I know that even if somebody takes initiative to find these things, they usually are the right fit for that school because they are ready to mold themselves for that school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. That's amazing.
Rishabh, there's something that we've been trying 50-50 response rate, 50-50. We are able to make it work. We ask teachers that, have kind of cleared the first hurdle with us. We've had a chat with them. We say, okay, this is an interesting person. We invite them to come and sit in class for a couple of days.
Mhm.
So please come and get a understanding of the vibe in our class.
Yeah.
Look at the engagement, understand how it happens. Because A, you're a little more comfortable. Kids are comfortable with you hanging around. B, you also know whether this is something that you can do and tolerate it and stand up for. I think that's really, really important. And it's only possible if we are all focusing on the same thing, which is vision, which is belief, which is philosophy. I think that's really important. And I don't discount at all, not even once, or disrespect schools that have to hire because they have to hire. You know, or whatever it look, I gotta put someone in that class. So
Oh,
often,
absolutely.
but I know that at the part of it always is an effort to bring this person, this teacher, this amazing practitioner, professional, into a space where they are one with the rest of the community. And I think that's the most important thing that
Yeah.
mentors, principals, anybody else can do.
Beautiful. Love it. Let me quickly take you to the last part of the conversation now. This last part, I basically request you to do a role play.
Okay. Oh.
And look, you are a theater person, you would be able to do it very well. I know that. Uh, but the purpose is the world is facing a stark shortage of skilled teachers. Um, we get we've got millions of teachers, but when we talk about those teachers that we would want our students, our kids to be taught by, the percentages are decreasing. And I feel we as education leaders have this responsibility to sell our profession better. We need to position our profession the right way, what it stands for. Uh, I think there was a generation before where maybe our generation and maybe one after ours as well that uh, wanted to weigh things with money. But when I'm looking at the next generations, it's not the most important thing. It's balance. It's other things that they want to explore alongside with financial things. So with all of these changes, with all of these nuances, and the need, and with AI taking all other jobs, teaching is going to come out as that one amazing humanistic, opportunity. With all of this in place, I invite Arjun Rao to present and represent the teaching profession. And you have to do it in a way that you have to imagine you're standing in a stadium filled with around 50,000 people.
Oh, boy.
They're all fresh graduates, ready to take a decision whether I do an MBA, whether I do a B.Ed, whether I do XYZ, I do IB Category 1 training, or I do Cambridge Certificate in Teaching and Learning. What do I do? What direction do I take? And there are other people who are presenting their industries, and you are representing teaching. What would you say that a lot of people want to buy into the vision of becoming a teacher?
We're in the Infinity House. In Westwood's one, you are also
Now people are just giving you, suggestions of what you should be saying. I know I've cracked the code now. I really want to hear what's going on this thing.
My God, this is a very long announcement. I thought I'll for 30 seconds, but my God, it's very long.
Good. This is good. I love it.
This should be the ad we put in front of everybody. You know, that this is what we do every single day.
A school is not just a shiny building and people sending the kids inside. It's so many things that runs parallelly that we have to take care of.
Constantly with every second.
Absolutely.
Teaching is one of the most important things a person can do. It changes the lives of individuals, families, societies, countries, the world. An idea can take very, very powerful roots when a teacher plants that idea. So many individuals find themselves becoming teachers because their teachers change their lives forever. There's not a single person in the world whose life has not been impacted by a teacher. And when we make the lists of all the teachers that we've had, we will all think of, if we're lucky, 8, 10, 15 teachers out of the over 100 who teach us over a lifetime, formally. Not even talking about families, parents, all of that. Imagine if that number from 10 became 20, became 30, became 40. And you could say that at least 50% of the teachers that I've had have changed my life and have made me want to change the world. Can you be that teacher? I think that's what I would say.
Powerful, impactful. I think for a second, I had that goosebumpy moment when you said, can you be that teacher? And I'd use that pitch. 100%. Arjun, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest. We've had a pure heart-to-heart discussion, everything under the sun, and you've really, really added so much value in this episode of the podcast. Before I stop the recording, any last message before we go, from this recording today? Anything that you'd like to say to education leaders, teachers around the world? Any message that you want to share about education as educators as a community, or education as a concept? Anything?
Yeah. I think leaders should never forget to take a chance on people. Somebody took a chance on them at some point in their lives. I think they should never forget that. They have a great responsibility to all those who are looking up to them for their leadership. For teachers, I would say never forget to take a chance on yourself. I always tell teachers it is far easier to apologize than to wait around for permission. Go do, go try, be different, be unique, because that's what your children are looking to you for. And to everybody else who's wondering about whether they should become teachers or not, you absolutely should. You will never find a job that allows you to have as much fun, find yourself, find such tremendous satisfaction at the end of the day. And remember, you are quite literally able to change the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the listeners for being here, enjoying this episode of the podcast. We'll be back with another inspirational leader very, very soon. Till that time, have fun, stay safe, and enjoy your teaching journey. See you soon. Bye-bye.